a message for my people.
Nick Dais, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep, sticking its home. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna benefit.
Yes, what's good, everybody?
What's up?
Veterans Minimum.
Be back.
8-2 in week 10, baby. Let's go.
Oh,
What a week. It's so much nicer to record in a beautiful studio, the number one sports betting vibe on the planet. On the planet, not just the internet. The whole fucking globe. You know how big the globe is, bro?
it's pretty big.
Fucking massive. Pause. The best. We're the best. 8-2. Like I said, feels great to film on days like this. George, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling stimulated. I will say this: 8-2 feels amazing, phenomenal. But the two losses being the end of the night on Sunday, I'd rather go 500. I'll put it that way. You can win as much as you want. Everybody feels the same exact way. You're either chasing going into Sunday Night Football, which this week we weren't. We were up, treating it like fucking fun coupons the way I'm throwing in same game parlays just because I'm feeling myself on the wins that we had earlier in the day. And then we'll get to them. We'll get to them, and it's going to be a stern talking to for the Steelers. But I hate to put a damper on it, but that's really how it felt. You can win all you want, but if you end the day a loser, you feel like a loser. That's it.
Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah. You know, I feel as if trust me let me down, bro.
Back-to-back weeks.
The trust me let me down. I did a parlay of all my picks and I had posted it. It was a banger parlay. I got a bonus bet on one of the apps and I posted it on my social media at Nick Dais 10 on all social media outlets. And I had my Ursulita, which was the Jets money line. I had Roma Dunze to score. I had Lions minus 8.5. They blew the Commanders out. I had the toxic one. The toxic one once again. Toxic one is basically the fate of the week, right? Colts were getting like 88% of the tickets in Berlin. I really liked the Falcons to cover and to win outright, but they covered the 6.5. It's super dope when you go into overtime and you have more
That
than
hook.
6. You're like,
Yeah.
cash it in. Unless something ridiculous happens, like the Colts would have to kick a field goal and then get like a fumble pick 6 return.
Yeah.
Which at that point you're like, that's just a fucking egregious bet to lose, right? Like imagine if
You
had,
for sure thought about it because it took me a second there. I was like, no, Nick, no, you're good with the hook. And then I was like, nope.
Great.
You can have there was a play that ended the game.
Yeah, the Jaguars and
game.
Texans, bro. Imagine that. Or even earlier this year, probably one of the best games of the year. The Rams were 3.5-point underdogs.
Jesus.
And
Christ.
they go to kick a field goal. It gets blocked when the Eagles are up 2 or 3 points, whatever it was. And then the Eagles score a fumble return for a touchdown. And you're like, holy shit, that's such a bad bet. So anyway, that goes into overtime. And then I lose on the trust me, man, with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay minus 2.5. They come out the gates, a nice 3-and-out for the Pats. Or a quick, not turnover on downs, but, you know, they make a stop, force them to punt, and Buka scores the touchdown. I'm like, oh, shit. We're back. Trust me. I feel like Trust Me hasn't lost back-to-back weeks. We're on a 2-game losing streak with the Trust Me, and it hurts, bro. It hurts.
It's not good. The reports are starting to say Nick Dais losing streak. He's not one of those coaches that can come back and course correct his betting. And this is it. People are worried. You're on the hot seat, actually. A lot of people in New York are in hot seats.
Yeah, a lot of hot seats, bro.
Yeah. Actually, the seat was too hot for Brian Daboll.
Yeah. I
And-
feel like we should start there.
Yeah, I'll let you have your moment because it's a very important day for the New York Giants.
Okay, so Daboll gets fired. We had sources. It feels good when we could say that, and we actually had sources. We had sources telling us that plane ride from Denver you can hear a pin drop. It was quiet. Then the reports prior to the game against the Bears was John Mara, owner of the team, actually wanted to fire him on the flight back. And they're like, no, don't do it. You know, the Giants aren't an organization that really fires coaches mid-year. They kind of let you ride it out, and then from there, they'll get rid of you. It came down to one thing, bro. And I think it's a turning point for the franchise. Jaxson Dart getting concussed yesterday was the last straw for them. They're like, yo, bro, listen. You're not really in our plans moving forward. We found something. The league sees this kid and they're like, yo, bro, he has it. He's throwing to Division III JUCO wide receivers. I like Wandale Robinson. I like him a lot. I think he should be the slot receiver moving forward. Hell, I like Theo Johnson. If he didn't drop every other pass thrown to him, I'd like him even more. He's doing it with jobbers, to use a wrestling term. They're not guys that are going to be part of the organization moving forward. Do you know how many design runs he has this year?
30?
Very close. 27.
Wow.
He started in week 4. This dude, Jaxson Dart, got hurt in the preseason, pretty low key, and they pulled him out of the game with a head injury. And then he got concussed on the Thursday Night Football game where Daboll went into the tent. He's like, yo, my job is on the line. Get the fuck back out here. And then the NFL fined him. It became a whole thing, became a meme. Scatterboo was going into the blue tent like, yo, creatine Caucasians. You all right, bro? Let's get back on the field. That was all fun and games. Yesterday, he gets hurt again. And they didn't put him back in. Fun fact, I text you. I was like, yo, I just live bet the Bears 10-1. I threw $10. My last $10, I'm like, I was like, oh, fuck it. They come back and they lose that game because Russ came in and you just knew right away. But back to Daboll, right? Jaxson Dart is the future of the franchise. I think it's solidified. What he's doing with what he has at his disposal is incredible. Other players recognize it. The dudes on the Broncos that were talking mad shit to him after the game, like, hey, man, he a baller, bro. Kyle Shanahan said it. Robert Saleh, like, they see it. People see it, right? I think the rest of the year, despite this firing, he should not be on the field again. Don't do it. We're good, bro. We saw what you could do. We love it. Let's shut him down. For what, bro? Didn't I tell you when they lost that game to the Broncos? They're not winning another game this year. I did a parlay on the Patreon. Shout out to the Patreon. And I know it got there at the end because Dart got hurt. But I'm betting on the Ravens every week, parlayed with whoever the Giants are playing. And it was plus 125 in week 10. Because that's the kind of loss where you're just going to spiral. Your schedule is already tough. They're a way better team than 2-8 or 2-7, but because of circumstances and how they lost, it's like, yo, bro, it's a wrap.
It is.
They've lost all 4 games on the road in which they had a 10-point lead at some point in the game. And three of the 4 were in the second half where they ended up losing these games. One of them being the Saints game, which, fuck, that loss looks even worse now. But then who are the Giants to say that loss is bad when they're in the same situation, kind of like the Saints? I know I'm being long-winded, but
no, this is your moment. This is your team. This is your franchise. Like I said, big day. Big day for the Giants.
It tells me that they understand that Dart is the future. They don't want to jeopardize him and have him have another concussion, 3 concussions that we know of this year. Like, nah, bro, shut him down. Like I said, he's had 3, really. The preseason one and then the 2 this year. I don't need to see any more, bro. You're the answer. 27 design runs since week 4. For what, bro? For what?
Because that's how you are going to utilize him in his career. He's too good not to use him that way. And I think that a year growing, honestly, embracing the creatine Caucasians, you need some more creatine. You see this with NFL quarterbacks that run. The first year, they're weak. They look frail. They get smoked constantly. and then they hit the gym in the offseason.
The best example is Drake May. Drake May, carbon copy last year. He was getting smoked. He left a couple games. Hell, I even think this year, even against Tampa Bay, I think he got dinged up.
Yeah.
And they were like, smelling salt. How many fingers? 3? No. 2. 2. Okay, yeah, you're good. We went 1970s NFL. Fuck CTE. That's what the Patriots look like, right? So that's what whoever comes in should tell Jaxson Dart, like, hey, man, look at what Drake May did last year as opposed to this year. I want to push back. I think, yes, Dart, that's how you got to utilize him, running. However, when you're 2-7, I'm good, bro. I don't want you to be put into danger.
Yeah.
If the 27 design runs were from the 2-yard line, I'm cool there. But we're talking about 2nd and 8 and 3rd and 12s on a team that's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Nah, context is everything. If you're 9-0 and you're doing design runs, I'm cool with it. Way different. Context is everything in everything. So getting rid of Daboll, it was only a matter of time. Honestly, it was kind of weird that he even kept his job all these years because he started off hot and then he was doing the same shit with Josh Allen running him around. Daniel Jones was getting popped all the time. Now with Dart, the franchise is like, yo, bro, we can't have this. We got to protect our biggest asset. The Giants finally are going to be in that window, that 3 to 4 year window right now after this season where, yo, you could go and get a big name wide receiver, go overpay for a cornerback, another edge rusher, because you're not going to pay the quarterback yet. Dart's going to get $70 million a year at some point.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
Go ahead.
What would your ideal coach be and look like? I can list off a couple of names, but ideally, let's just talk the archetype. Do you want offensive minded? Do you want defensive minded? Do you want young? Do you want old? What should the next New York Giants head coach look like?
Can I give you one that I think might be kind of, I'm gonna give you 2. I want young offensive mind.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah. Like I always want.
This is what you got to do these days.
Yeah.
This is the modern day fuck defense, right?
Well, I want all my young quarterbacks to have an offensive mind. I've said this since I started Veterans Minimum 10 years ago. My take has always been now Pat Mahomes 10 years into the league or how many years he's been in. All right, bro. Bill Belichick wants to come out of college and take over for Andy Reid in a hypothetical. Yeah, he's experienced enough. But young, you think Mahomes has the same success if he doesn't walk in with Andy Reid?
No.
And he has fucking Rex Ryan? I think it's a different career.
Correct.
So I want a young offensive mind. I would like Joe Brady, offensive coordinator from the Buffalo Bills. I like it. We got good ties with the Bills. Schoen came over. Then you had Brian Daboll. I like it. Another name I could see happening. What do you think of Kyle Shanahan?
I love it, but he seems untouchable.
I'm just saying.
He seems untouchable. Okay.
For sure. But like he's not overstayed his welcome, but like I'm just thinking of a guy who, man, it's ran its course kind of. We've maybe hit our ceiling. Maybe we need a new voice.
Yeah, I think you're fantasy booking.
I'm definitely fantasy booking.
Bro, that would be out of the frying pan straight into the fryer.
Yeah.
My issues with the 49ers are terrible. Let me go to the fucking Giants. College coach, would you be happy or sad? Would you be like, what the fuck are we doing? Because there's a lot of youthful energy that you're going to see a lot of these college coaches vying for those positions. Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame. People are saying that he's already signed another contract with Notre Dame, but contracts are meant to be broken sometimes, especially when the New York Giants are calling. I think Marcus Freeman would piss you the fuck off. You'd be more pissed off with Marcus Freeman than you would Brian Daboll.
I don't know too much about him. You know, I don't follow college like that. So there's no like,
for sure.
Like, remember Chip Kelly was like this crazy innovator of offense, right? And then Matt Rule, even to a certain extent, was like, yo, the next, he turned Baylor into something. And then you're like, what the fuck, Baylor? Would they? And then he goes into the NFL, right? So, like, I don't know enough about the college game. I would have to name someone that once coached in the NFL to, like, come back. Like a Bill Belichick, right? He got ties to the New York Giants. But I don't know. I feel like he might be outdated.
Bobby Petrino, Arkansas, current interim Arkansas coach, used to coach in the NFL.
The popular
offensive-minded, old though.
The popular name has been John Gruden because of the Gruden camp shit with Jaxson Dart and him telling him like, yo, bro, you're going to get yourself killed out there. Those are resurfacing now too. I would like a Joe Brady. I think he's kind of one of those guys next in line. Give me someone from like the McVay tree. Who's the offensive coordinator for the Rams? Give me one of those guys.
Yeah.
Give me Kevin
Passing game
O'Connell.
Coordinator.
Yeah, give me someone like that. I need an offensive mind, bro.
Okay.
I would like that.
Fair enough.
And also I'd like them to be like, hey, Jackson, when we're down 28-3, if we ever are, we don't need an RPO, bro. We don't need design runs. Let's fucking chill. All right.
Save yourself.
Yeah, save yourself.
Long career.
And bro, listen, man. We talked about the Jets last week with the draft picks, right? Hot take. I think both New York teams right now for moving forward, coveted jobs. Not because it's New York. Does it help? Yeah, it does. But like Jets got all them fucking assets and they got some cap space. Giants are going to have cap space because they're not going to pay Jaxson Dart until what, 2029 is when he'll get the fucking $500 million, whatever the cap's going to be then. Now you're looking at it like, hey, man, all right. It's a good position to be in. Got a stud wide receiver that's going to be on a rookie contract. You got your boy Scatterboo coming back. Like, they're in a position now where you're saying to yourself, hey, man, both these New York teams, it's a prestigious job. So I think it was a great move by the organization. It validates my thoughts as a fan, because sometimes our vision could be skewed, that they see the same things that we're seeing, bro. He's the guy. That's my TED Talk. I've been saving that for the last 24 hours.
Okay. By the way, Sports Illustrated, they came out with an article this morning, of course, 15 potential head coaching possibilities.
Give me them, and I'll give you rapid-fire reactions.
Okay. And this is in the order that they're listed.
Okay.
Which I found to be hilarious. Vance Joseph, defense coordinator, Broncos.
Nope.
Chris Shula, defense coordinator, Rams.
You said defensive?
Yeah.
Nope.
Brian Flores, defense coordinator, Vikings.
I kind of like Flores. I think Flores was wrongfully fired in Miami. Kind of a badass, bro. I think players play for him. So far, I'm interested. I'm having a meeting.
Okay. Marcus Freeman, we already said. Jeff Hafley, defense coordinator, Green Bay.
Defense, no. Shout out to Boston College, though.
Steve Spagnuolo, defense coordinator.
Nah. Yo, playoff Spags got me a Super Bowl undefeated. I love him. Defensive coordinator, fantastic. Head coach, nah, I'm cool, man.
Fun one to end it off here, Antonio Pierce.
Defensive coordinator, I love it.
Okay.
Not as a head coach.
Not as a head coach
Yeah,
for the Jets, for the Giants?
Yeah, not as a head coach. Yeah, we getting the fans too. They disagree. Yeah.
Can't do it to him. Man.
Yeah, nah. I give me an offensive mind. Joe Brady's not on there?
Joe Brady is not listed on here.
Terrible. I like me some Joe Brady, bro.
Mike Kafka, your current interim?
Nah, I'm cool.
Fun one, Mike Elko, Texas A&M head coach. They're undefeated right now. Bigger guy. I feel like the city might embrace him.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Not defensive-minded, but I do like Brian Flores.
I know that I said there was 15 names there, and I know I said that was the last one, but Bill Belichick.
I think he's out of touch, bro. And if his girl comes over there, too, like, too much of a headache, man. All we need is, like, Jaxson Dart to steal the coach's chick, and then you have that whole fucking fiat. I'm cool. Stay at UNC. I'm all right.
Anything else from this Giants-Bears game? Bears
quietest 6-3 team in the league.
They're smashing the shit out of the
bad teams. Yeah.
And so you can't blame them. That's who's on their schedule right now. This is good for their offense. A lot of different people getting involved and feeling like they have significant roles. I like it. But there is a bit of me that is when they face adversity immediately in the playoffs, if they make it to the playoffs, they're going to get like boat raced. It'll be the Browns from a year ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? I picked them to win the North. They were my division winner. What I think is, if you look at their schedule is really interesting because they play at Minnesota this week. Then they play home to the Steelers, at Philadelphia, at Green Bay. Based on that, if we just go on them beating up on bad teams, they're 2-2 over these next 4, right? Then they end the year with home Cleveland, home Green Bay, at the 49ers. Who the fuck knows what they're going to look like week 17. And then in Chicago against Detroit. Bro, they're 6-3. So is Detroit. We're recording at the time of the Monday Night Football game right now. They're playing the Eagles. Last we checked, I think Philly was up. So Green Bay might lose that game. They might move to 5-3-1. Chicago is the good bad team. They'll get to 10 wins and they'll be an underdog at home if they won the division.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. Caleb, one drive, I watch him, I'm like, that's the number 1 pick. And then a couple drives later, I'll watch him, I'm like, that's the number 1 pick? I said the same thing. Context. We're talking about context before, right? Yeah, I don't know. How'd you feel about this? Shout out to Rome.
No, bro.
Rome came home for the boys.
Rome came home. It was fun to watch. I had called the live play in the Discord of I put the Bills and the Bears together in a money line parlay at the half, hoping that both of them would come back. And when I saw Russell Wilson out there, I knew it was cashing. I did not need to see anything else. I couldn't have watched the rest of the game, and I still would have known that I would have won that bet. That's all I have for this game. They look good.
Yeah, guess so.
I did wake up bright and early for the London game. Or not the London game. They were playing in Munich, Germany. It is pretty weird to see the side-by-sides of like where Hitler was standing during the games that they had.
Yeah, the Olympics. They were talking about that. How crazy was that, right?
It is. It is nuts.
I was like, whoa, are we allowed to say all this?
It looked like a German day, too. It was gray and eerie, and it kind of smelled like beer.
Yeah.
Like through the TV.
Yeah, game was in Berlin, but close enough. Close enough. You said Munich.
It wasn't Munich?
No.
Munich, Germany? Munich is in Germany, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah. But yeah, it was in Berlin. I woke up bright and early, and shout out to Alec Pierce. Gave him out to score on the Discord. Shout out to Jonathan Taylor. He went crazy. No shout out to the Atlanta Falcons and Bijan Robinson, who, that was so devastating, man. That just like, talk about being vultured several times by Algier. Algier scores 2 touchdowns.
He just waits in the corner right next to the coach, just flexed up. He looks enormous, and he just knows. He knows. Bijan, do all the hard stuff. I'm going to get all the love. I'm for sure going to hit my incentives if I have any for touchdowns this year. You called it on the show, and when Bijan didn't score and Algier scored 2, and Jonathan Taylor goes off, it's officially over. And you could crown Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, Jonathan.
At minimum, he's winning Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
That sealed it.
Well, here's the thing, right? Jonathan Taylor right now is minus 800 to win Offensive Player of the Year. He is on pace to break all the numbers that Saquon had last year. Bro, he's had 4 3-touchdown games. And if you look at their schedule, bro, all right, let's do this. Let's do this. Over under 1.5 games that he has 3 touchdowns in the rest of the way. They play the Chiefs next week, so they're on a bye. Chiefs, home Texans, at Jaguars, at Seattle, home Niners, home Jaguars. I'm saying 1.5 more games that he scores 3 or more touchdowns.
He plays the Jaguars twice. Book it.
He plays the Jaguars twice, yes.
Book it.
He also plays the Texans twice.
Texans will stop him. That's a way better defensive team. Jaguars, book it.
Yeah. Yeah, he is on an absolutely insane run. His numbers are through the roof. Shout out to us a couple of weeks ago when they played the Chargers. We made the case. We waved the white flag on Offensive Player of the Year, right? We saw it.
We did it like halfway though. Like we were still like Bijan could like go absolutely nuclear to close the year.
We were like when the head coach goes to throw the challenge flag, but they get word like don't do it. But like you see you're about to.
It. They said, do you see that camera angle?
Yeah.
Is his toe in? Is his toe in? Throw it.
Yeah. We were like,
we were about to.
And then we put it back. But we showed that we were ready. Now we've both thrown both of them, and we basically burned the ticket, right?
Inshallah.
But yeah. But we did make the case for Taylor to be MVP. It was 60-1 at the time that we said. Everyone in the comments was like, yo, a running back can't win MVP. It's a quarterback award. All those people in the comments wear 3 condoms when they have intercourse. Yeah, he's outside of one game against Pittsburgh, which Daniel Jones just couldn't keep the ball. He's been the MVP start to finish. And on top of that, here's the caveat. You need to have a Daniel Jones at quarterback playing the way he's playing in order for you to be the MVP. Because if Stafford was on the Colts with the numbers that he has, say Taylor had the same numbers, but with Stafford, you'd be like, yo, bro, it's Stafford.
Yeah.
But Daniel Jones isn't lighting it up that way, and the bell cow has been Jonathan Taylor. Bijan Robinson, super duper disappointing. I'm waiting. There's 2 players in the league, bro. I'm waiting for there not to be a backup for them. Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Enough with the fucking Sonic and Knuckles, bro. I'm done. You saw Gibbs yesterday went crazy for 3 touchdowns. He had a monster game. Like, Bijan would be the same thing. If Algier, who's a free agent after this year, if he signs somewhere else, you know who we're running back next year for Offensive Player of the Year? Might do Bijan again. He's that talented. Like, even Jonathan Taylor was like, yo, bro, you're the one. Derrick Henry has said it. Saquon Barkley has said it. You know who doesn't know it? The fucking Falcons. And Taylor yesterday has the longest touchdown from scrimmage this year with 83 yards. He looks amazing, over 240 yards on the ground. Yeah, I think he has a legitimate case, man, to win MVP this year. I really do. And I'm happy that we said that a couple weeks ago.
Shout out to Drake London for making me look smart. He is a premier weapon for this Falcons team. That's the one thing they have figured out. They can't figure out 2 things at once. It's either Drake London's going crazy and Bijan's playing the, sideshow, or it's flip-flopped, vice versa. And Bijan, 17 carries, 84 yards. Drake London, 6 receptions, 104, and a tutter for the anytime touchdown parlay that was ruined by Taysom Hill, but we'll get to that later on. I would have hit our first anytime touchdown parlay this week. 2 for 3.
Oh, man. What a
2
bummer.
for 3. I'm playing conservative, and I'm still fucking missing.
Well, let's talk about that game, man. Saints-Panthers. I think we're on like a 5-week consecutive streak where we hype up a team on a Monday and then they proceed to lose. Bengals, Panthers, I laid out the case. Got some good feedback on that. They're like, yo, I'm in. I kind of like it. It was right there. Tampa Bay ends up losing.
Is this week going to be the Bears? We did kind of like gas up the Bears.
Nah, not really. Only because like not you, but I had picked them to win the division. So it wasn't like that outrageous.
Correct. This one's fresh though. You were all over the Panthers, and I knew this game was fishy. I put it as the toxic one. I didn't have the balls to put in Saints money line. However, Tyler Shook's made me a believer. He looked good on 3rd down, and that's all I can ask for as a fan of football, is that you are efficient as a motherfucker on 3rd down. It was like in the 3rd quarter, he was 6 for 9 for like 69 yards, and that's exactly what I need.
Can I also give you more credit?
Yes.
because I don't want to say too much about this game. Bryce Young, I've said it. I'm going to flip-flop on him more than any player in the league. You told me, bro, don't get goggles for the Panthers because they literally played a perfect game against the Packers. And you were right. The floor is yours. I have nothing else to say about this. I punted away $150 on Canales and them to win the division.
Yeah, and by the way, we don't have to spend too much time talking about this game. I'm going to segue it in perfectly because that call that I had on the Panthers for playing a perfect game, they're a one-dimensional team. And so I knew the Saints, if they had any semblance of a brain, are going to stop Rico Dowdle, try to slow him down. 18 carries for 53 yards. Sure, Rico Dowdle gets in the end zone again. Dude is going insane this year. Good on Rico Dowdle. But that's what the Panthers are. They're one-dimensional. And once that dimension gets stopped, and that dimension is also the run game, you look an awful lot like the Buffalo Bills. You look an awful lot like the Buffalo Bills, who have thrived in games in which they're able to get James Cook going. Look at the games in which James Cook doesn't get going, and you get exactly what the Bills showed against the Dolphins. How about that segue? The Bills have me more than worried. The panic button needs to be hit. You don't lose to the fucking Dolphins. You just don't do it.
Bro, you know we got these Bills futures coming off the high of beating the Chiefs and like dominating them. Defense came alive, played well. Worst game, passer rating, and under 50% from Mahomes. And then you play a team who, bro, what about this? Dolphins get their shit punched in by the Bears. Then they smoke the Falcons. Kirk Cousins terrorist alert. Then they get smoked by the Ravens. And then they completely shred the Bills. Does this mean they're going to get smoked this week, whoever they play, or their next game? I don't know if they're on a bye week. Oh, they play in Madrid this week. They play the Commanders. Are they going to get smoked there? This has been the trend. Like, it makes no sense. For Buffalo, really frustrating because a lot of mistakes. Your two best players fumbled, James Cook and then Josh Allen. Right when it looked like they were going to have some life off a turnover, he fumbles at midfield. I'll tell you this much, bro. If you're any team playing Buffalo, you take away James Cook, you're done. You're done.
What? All right, am I supposed to be worried about Keon Coleman?
Yeah, he scored a touchdown, but like, no.
No, bro. No.
Yeah.
No. Like, there's a reason they don't go to his ass more. There is a reason. And it's because they don't have the confidence. And I don't know if it's a mix between not having the confidence or are we witnessing a team, and this could be good for us, Nick. I'm going to spin zone, hitting the panic button here. They're just getting ready for the playoffs. The regular season doesn't matter. They only get up for big games. This is not the Bills team of last year that was trying to prove to the world we're on a fucking mission to win the Super Bowl, and they were the regular season champs, and then obviously, they go down again in the playoffs. I think this year is a different brand and characteristic where they literally took this week off. Is Haley not putting out at home for Joshy? He goes down to Miami. That was another thing I was thinking of. Did Josh have a little too much fun down there with the 8th Street Latinas?
It's very tempting down there, man. It's very
tempting. A year. Hey, it's been a year. It was a fresh relationship. They kind of rushed into things, Nick. They kind of rushed into things. He goes down to Miami.
Don't all celebrities do that, though? Oh, they're dating. And then it's like,
what else do all celebrities do?
They cheat.
They go down to Miami.
Yeah.
They go down to Miami and they have some fun before they're about to go and wax the Dolphins. And hey, it was a trap.
Bro, I don't think they're in any position to be like, let's just worry about the playoffs. Because
2 games back now on the Pats.
They're 2 games back on the Pats. They're also, if you look at like playoff positioning, they're in by no means a lock to be in the playoffs. Like they're not there's no team in the league outside of the Eagles because of that division that they should be like, oh yeah, we're gonna be fine. Bro, they're 6-3. They're a game up on the Chiefs and the Jaguars. They're 2 games back in the division. They're a game behind the Chargers, who are at 7-3. They currently have the 5 seed. But like Baltimore is creeping. You know, Baltimore's minus 250 to win the division. They were 1-5. Like they're coming along, right? Yeah. Buffalo's in no position to be like, yo, let's just lock in for the playoffs, because they got Tampa at home. They go to Houston on Thursday Night Football. Then they play at Pittsburgh. They play the Bengals, who, guess who returned to practice today?
Joey
B. Then they play at New England. They play at Cleveland, who we've said Cleveland at home, their defense especially, juggernaut. Then they play the Eagles, and then they play at the Jets, right? They're in no position to be like, yeah, well, we'll pick it up in the playoffs. I hope that was the case, but I don't like the inconsistency of teams. Like, yo, playing down. You know who I do like? Seattle. Shout out to Pam Maldonado. She was like, yo, the Seahawks are going to be legit. I didn't see it. But you know what Seattle is doing, bro? They're fucking whooping people. That's their 3rd game this year that they had a 28-0 lead in. Jesus. When you're playing shit teams, that's what you need to do for me to be like, I don't care that you're playing shit teams. If you're like winning by a field goal against a team that you're a 12-point favorite against, no. But if you're Seattle and it's 34-0 in the second quarter against Arizona, I'm like, yo, bro, this is what it got to look like. Smack around the Commanders. Smack around the Saints. That's what it's supposed to look like when you play shit teams. Buffalo is in no position to be doing that. They're not that kind of team. I'm really worried that they're a team that I think you might be right. Yo, Chiefs are coming in. Bet. Let's turn up. We're playing Tampa Bay this week. Big game. Let's turn up. But they can't afford to, because New England is on a 7-game winning streak. They're 2 games up on the division. Hell, they're 2.5 games up because they have the tiebreaker over them. I can't agree with you on that. I'm very concerned with our Bills' future.
Yeah. I was trying to spend, maybe this is just a turning of a new leaf. The Seahawks are the Bills of last year. You could be the regular season champs all you want. Win the games when they matter and when they go down in the history books. Yeah. But anyways, Devon Achane went nuts. Forced 11 missed tackles, his most in a game in his career. Gained 100 yards after forcing a missed tackle of his 225 yards from scrimmage. One player, that is the one player that I cannot wait to see play
on a better team? On
any other team.
Bro, yeah.
On any other team. He is going to be a fantasy point getter. I'll be top 10 for sure every week and points per game. But I don't really have anything else for that Dolphins-Bills game. It was disappointing.
Nah, I don't have nothing else on that, man. Yeah, really, really bad loss there for them. You want to move over to Baltimore?
Let's go.
So, how you feel about J.J. McCarthy?
Good game manager, but when you're comparing him to Jaxson Dart, it's a no-brainer. And to me, they're relatively a similar style of quarterback that thrives off a little bit of RPO action, can move around the pocket, looks good on rollouts. I just think that the Vikings fucked up, and he is reminded of it all the time, seeing the success of Sam Darnold, seeing the success of Daniel Jones, and realizing I'm the issue now. There's nobody else that can fix this problem aside from me, and I might be too much for him to take. You got to think his last quarterback coach in which he had great success was Harbaugh in Michigan, and we see how he treats Justin Herbert. he doesn't have that same type of love with KOC. I know that there's a little bit of contention between the two of them because KOC, he expects greatness. When you have the wide receiver room that they have, and you have the Jalen Nailors of the world, the Jordan Addisons, let alone Justin Jefferson, but you have an embarrassment of riches. You better be using them. This Vikings team is puzzling because they went crazy last week against the Lions, and then you come in here and it's really just a lackluster offensive game. You had opportunities, and they just didn't capitalize.
Yeah, bro, I'm with you on that, man. They went 3 of 14 on third downs, 2 for 5 on fourth downs. McCarthy threw 2 interceptions, both of them to Justin Jefferson. He caught 4 of the 12 targets that were thrown his way. You know, you could still tell that he's injured, so I do give him credit because I was wondering, like, how long has this ankle thing been? Like, are we shutting him down? Is he coming back? So I don't know if he got pressured to come back, to your point, because of what's happening with Sam Darnold. I think that the Ravens defense made some big adjustments. They did it last year around this time where they moved Kyle Hamilton to like roam around the line of scrimmage as opposed to playing like actual free safety. Starks got his first interception. I know you were high on him coming out there, first round pick. And I think with the Ravens, they didn't really look too good. Derrick Henry was okay, but not like it was a good matchup for him to really get going and have like a vintage Derrick Henry, which I still think he has one in the bag. Lamar Jackson, the team is just way better, obviously, with him in the lineup. And I think the morale, when you do have a guy like him in your lineup, it just shows. And the defense played better too. You know, Minnesota, I just don't I don't see it. I think they're gonna continue to regress. They play, like I said, they play Chicago this week. It's gonna be an interesting game, to say the least, because I think it's very telling for both teams. That's pretty much it, man. I think the Ravens are going to continue to soar, and I'm going to do that. Listen, every week we're parlaying the Ravens with whoever the Giants play, and we're rolling it over. So I won $75 because I started it with 50. I won $75 this week. I'm doing 75 to win 50 again this week because it's the Packers and the Ravens money line. It's like minus 200, and we'll just continue to build it because I don't think both of those teams lose or win the rest of the way.
December 7th, the Ravens play at home against the Steelers. Circle your calendars. That game will determine whether or not I hit my 8-leg divisional bet because I'm confident in the Lions, but I need the Steelers, and I also need the Rams to win this upcoming weekend. But this game is the latest one in the schedule. I'm hoping everything goes good for me. It's weird with the division. That AFC North, they always play each other extremely tough. Mm-hmm. And I know that this upcoming week, if the Vikings were to beat the Bears, I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tons of I like seeing Mark Andrews too get back into the mix as my fantasy tight end. Love to see him getting some targets. But that's it for this game for me. Do we want to talk about the Jets who haven't lost a game in 3 weeks? Crazy statement.
Yo, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
That my group chat, my fantasy group chat, shout out to the boys back home in Astoria. Shout out to the 718. We're in a group chat, right? And the majority, actually, no, I think there's like 3 Jet fans in the group chat. My one friend, David, he got a Jet tattoo. He's a lunatic.
Jesus.
He's celebrating these wins by the Jets like they're 9-point underdogs in the divisional round and they come out on top. And I'm a dick, right? Like, I'm kind of a troll. So when I do ask a genuine question, I gotta always preface by saying, like, yo, I'm being sincere. Like, why? I don't understand why he's excited. You're a Saints fan. Do you want them to win now? Are you like excited that they beat the Panthers? Is it because it's a rivalry with Carolina? Like, I'm of a believer, like when the Giants start 0-4, which seems like 7 of the last 9 years it's been like that. Bro, lose out. Like, we're halfway through the year. I want Dart to not play another snap the rest of the way. I don't understand how you're that excited. Mind you, Ursulita this week was the Jets to win outright. So I'm for it, but I'm not a Jet fan.
Yeah.
Do you understand the rationale? How do you feel about that?
For the Jets, it makes absolutely no sense. You don't have a solidified quarterback. You threw for 42 net passing yards and your victory this week. And this is coming off of a few weeks ago in which you threw for negative passing yards. This offense is terrible. Breece Hall gets a game ball for saving the Jets in every facet of the football game. Will McDonald went crazy. There's things to be excited about as a Jets fan, because the biggest thing is Aaron Glenn a bust? Because there was a lot of Ben Johnson talk in the offseason, and then you get to Aaron Glenn, and there was nothing said about him. Now that I'm starting to get to know Aaron Glenn, you see the post-game press conferences. You start to see the way he engages with the team in the locker room, and it's a carbon copy of Dan Campbell. Do we expect that from the Jets? That's a tough culture to build. You also have to think the Lions did it with a quarterback who had been to a Super Bowl. So they had a head start in the game of a leader that can actually make this message come to life. For the Jets, you don't have it. You need it. Don't be excited. And it's the Browns. Don't be excited over the Browns. Ever. Really. Unless you, for you this week, it was good to see your Ursulita hit, because had it not hit, then the comments would have went nuclear.
Oh, yeah. It was perfect. Yeah. Like, yo, I liked it that they won, but I'm not a Jet fan. I like the spot that they were in. They give up their 2 best defensive players, and people were like, oh, my God, they're tanking. Like, yeah, they might still be tanking. They're running Justin Fields out there. They're tanking, for sure. But like, who were the Browns to be a favorite on the road against anybody? Dylan Gabriel yesterday, 167 passing yards, 53.1% completion. I kind of want to see Shador play. He's not lighting it up. I've been talking about this shit for fucking 2 months now. When they benched Flacco, before they announced who the starting quarterback was, I wanted to see either Gabriel or Sanders. And I said, play one or the other. And then around the bye week, if the other guy's not lighting it up, which Gabriel hasn't been lighting it up, play Sanders. Let's just see. Maybe he's a diamond in the dirt, and we haven't seen him yet. And now you got this revelation in the 5th or 6th round whenever they took him. But they're not doing that. I don't understand what they're doing with Dylan Gabriel. I don't get it. To your point, the only reason why I wanted to talk about this game is the approach of Jet fans. Like, I don't understand. And I would love to hear y'all comments too. Like, when your team has no chance at the playoffs, and his argument is, oh, you're building a winning culture. I'm like, for what? You want to go 6-11 and have the 12th pick and miss out? And yeah, the draft is a crapshoot. We talk about that shit all the time. And you never know. But I'd rather position myself in a good spot than to do that and be nothing. Like, the old running joke used to be like, yo, you don't want to be the Hawks. The Hawks every year, 7 or 8 seed, and then they get swept or lose in 5.
Yep.
And you're like, for what, bro? For what? Like, nah, we got to rebuild again. Oh, here's Joe Johnson. Let's give him $30 million. And you're like, nah, that's not Paul Millsap. That's not what you want. I'd rather suck or be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. If you're in the middle, just lose out. Accumulate draft picks and continue to build. That's all I really want to say about that. The next game, your boy Baker and the Bucks lose to the Patriots. Drake May is now tied for NFL MVP at plus 300. They have won 7 games in a row. New England has. All the memes are popping up. Yo, we gave y'all a 4-year break, but we're back. You might have wanted to kill the man, but you didn't kill the idea. Right? Drake May playing really, really well. Henderson finally had the breakout that everyone was talking about, him coming out from Ohio State.
Yep.
How do you feel about New England, bro?
They're the buzzsaw that I was hoping they would be. And they aren't backing down to anybody. This team seems together. It's rare. It's really rare that you get a wide receiver on their third team that becomes one of your emotional leaders. What Stephon Diggs is able to do to get everybody on that offense aligned and to take pressure off of Drake May, because there's a bit of me, I haven't seen it from Drake May yet. The things aren't working. He's on the sideline. He takes his helmet off and starts like yapping at people to play better. I haven't necessarily seen the side of Drake May that I've seen and other Super Bowl winning quarterbacks that makes sense. You are the engine. We need to hear your voice. Stephon Diggs can be that voice. I love this team. I think that their defense is becoming unreal. The way that they fly around the ball is a lot of fun to watch. This Bucs team, banged up, bruised, still put up a hell of a fight. However, I do think that this Pats team is destined to at least win one playoff game? Question mark. Do they win the division?
Well, right now they're favored to do so. They're actually favored to be the 1 seed in the AFC. And the reason why is their schedule. They play home to the Jets on Thursday Night Football. They play at Cincinnati, probably without Burrow. They play home to the Giants. Then they have a bye week. Then they play home to Buffalo, at Baltimore, at Jets, and then they close out the year against the Dolphins in Foxborough. They have the easiest remaining schedule, and they're 8-2. I think they'll be the 1 seed because of those reasons. Denver's 8-2, but they still got 2 games against Kansas City, one of them being this week. We'll get to that in just a little bit. I think New England's defense, to your point, they have a shutdown corner in Christian Gonzalez.
He's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
He is our next premier lockdown. Everybody needs to know his name. Christian Gonzalez is not a player that you want to play against.
Yeah, no, he's a hell of a player, man. He should be a defensive player of the year candidate. It's hard for like defensive backs. That's why Surtain winning it last year was so crazy, because usually you got to have like 9 interceptions, but the advanced analytics helps guys like that, because it usually just goes to guys that get a lot of sacks. But to your point about New England, Drake May tied for NFL MVP odds right now. Vrabel to be coach of the year as well. Because of the schedule, I think they might have both, and they might win the division as well, because their schedule in comparison to what Buffalo has, it's going to come down to that game in New England. I'm going to be fascinated to see what the line on that one's going to be, because that's a game where if you're Buffalo, you got to go in there and belt to ass and be like, let's not get too crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all had your fun these couple weeks, but just know this is what we're capable of doing. So I'm going to be interested to see. But in regards to Tampa Bay, I think the injuries caught up to them, man.
100%.
Injuries, defensively too, they faltered in a couple of spots. Drake May, I will say, Drake May is getting hit a lot. 16 sacks in the last 3 games. Bro, that's context. Matthew Stafford's been sacked 13 times all year.
Yeah.
So
Daniel Jones is probably down there too.
Yeah, way different. But, he's doing it with like Kyle Williams scored a big touchdown. Stephon Diggs, 3 straight games with a touchdown.
Mac Hollins
making plays too. And like we said, Travion Henderson finally stepped up, and he had that monster game that people have been waiting for, because he was like in fantasy, he was going like the 4th round, 3rd, 4th round in some leagues, 12-man leagues. You're like, what the fuck? I can't imagine how many people probably dropped them in fantasy. They're like, yo, fuck this, man. Stevenson's getting all the touches. And then, they just opened it up for him. I think Tampa Bay is going to be fine. Still got a commanding lead in the division with Carolina losing. I think Tampa Bay is going to be good. They get a couple pieces back over the next couple of weeks. I think they're going to be good. They'll be fine. I'm not worried about Tampa Bay. They lost to a good team.
Yeah.
And you know what? Tampa Bay's in all these games. Like, Baker is going to keep you in these games.
Agreed.
And I'm here for it.
Fun little fact: the Buccaneers are 1-5 versus the Patriots since 2001. Tampa Bay's only win against New England, and that span was with Tom Brady as their starter, Week 4 of 2021. Tom Brady has won every single matchup except for this most recent one, in the Pats-Bucks rivalry. Interesting. I thought that was interesting. Last game in the morning slate. Jaguars absolutely crumble to the Texans and Davis Mills. Nick, this game was a mill of fun.
Bro, so can I give you a take?
Jaguars are cooked.
Yeah, I think they might be cooked, but I'll give you a different take. I think Liam Cohen is on the sideline saying, this isn't the guy I want.
Agreed.
I don't think Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback for the Jaguars next year. I don't know how it happens, bro. I just have a gut feeling. He just makes way too many mistakes. And he shouldn't. Like, remember, this dude was the guy. He was what Andrew Luck was supposed to be. Coming out of college, can't miss prospect. When he was like 19 years old, there were some people being like, yo, put him in the league right away. Don't even let him play at Clemson. But man, there is just something about him that you can't lose a game like that to a CJ Stroud-less Texans. I don't care how good that defense is, because you jump out to a fucking ridiculous lead. They jumped all over them in the first quarter, bro. 2 quick turnovers, 10 points off takeaways. Parker Washington, who's now the #1 wide receiver, even when Brian Thomas Jr. was in the lineup too, who's being fed a bunch of targets. Jacoby Myers comes in. He scores a touchdown, but it gets nullified by a penalty, false start. But they just jump out to a crazy lead. Bro, they were 35-1 to win that game in the fourth quarter when they were down like 29-10.
Jesus.
And then for them to come back and lose that game, that Houston defense is ridiculous. It wasn't the Texans defense's fault that they jumped out to that big lead. But then they balled out. And Danielle Hunter, 8 QB pressures, 3.5 sacks in that game. And you got Will Anderson. Stingley made a crazy interception on that crossing route too. If Liam Cohen wasn't a first-year coach, it's a fireable offense to lose that game. That's why Brian Daboll and John Mara wanted to fire Brian Daboll, because of shit like that. It's like, bro, you can't lose that game, bro. You can't lose that game there. And they, the Jaguars, if they would have won this game, you could have made a case for them to maybe be in the AFC South discussion, because if they would have won this game, Jacksonville that is, they would have went to 6-3. Colts 8-2. You still got the 2 head-to-head against them. Now I'm looking at it like, yo, Texans best unit in the division is this the defense.
Are you going to make the case that is this the team that could get hot?
Can we look at their schedule?
Is this the Houston Texans team that will be that one wild card wonder? They got at the Titans, then they got home versus the Bills, at Colts, at Chiefs. I think it's already cooked. Home versus the Cardinals, home versus the Raiders, at Chargers, home versus the Colts.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the schedule would be a little bit more favorable.
Yeah, getting
tough.
The Bills and the Chiefs in there is not what you want to see. And then also getting the Chargers in LA to close out the year, that's going to be rough. But they play tough. I mean, this is definitely a team that Nico Collins has his fingers on everything, bro. Like, he is one of the greatest wide receiver talents that, okay, this is a tough comp. Andre Johnson or Nico Collins?
Andre Johnson, bro. Let's not get too crazy. I love Nico Collins. Remember, I made a case for him to be like a point against the point spread, because who are the other receivers for the Texans? I don't want to get crazy. Andre Johnson, one of the best of his generation.
You're right. I just had to throw it out there.
No, I get it. I get it. I'm for clicks. I'm for it. You know, go a little viral, have people call you crazy and other words that we can't repeat because of our political climate. But, you know, I'm for it. But nah, I like Nico Collins a lot, man. You know, Nico Collins last year, up until he got hurt, was putting up insane numbers. He was like first in the league in yards by like 160 yards, and then he pulled a hamstring. He was, you know, he's a hell of a baller, man. He's a really good player. But yeah, that's, you know, we were talking about it to open up the show. If you had the Texans minus 1.5, the fact that they covered that game, being up 30-29, and they score a touchdown with zeros on the clock. I mean, play the lotto, have sex without a condom. Like you're like on cloud 9. You're batting 1,000. Your luck is through the roof.
I want one of those just once in my lifetime. I understand it's like getting struck by lightning, but to cover in that fashion is gotta feel unreal. The Jaguars last in the fourth quarter, they ran 9 plays, Nick. 9 plays for a total net yardage of 2 yards. Crazy. That is insane. I think that's all we need to say about this game.
Bro, Trevor Lawrence this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Like, you know how I always tell you, take away the guy's best year and his worst year. That's who they are. I really believe that. His best season, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. His worst season, 12 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Give him a pass, Urban Meyer, rookie year. Bro, he's a 19 touchdown, 12 interception guy. Like, he's making 55 a year. He was on a couple episodes ago. We were talking about like, yo, rapid fire, top 10 highest paid. Yes or no? How do you feel? It's like, fuck, man. You just take away those 2 seasons. We're taking away his best and his worst. He's whatever, bro. He's just a whatever. I don't think he's the future for the Jaguars. I think he's on a different team.
I'm glad you said it was Liam Cohen's thoughts, because I do think that the franchise as a whole, he's grandfathered himself in, it seems like, for the next 5-6 years. With the way that they have embraced them. You know, I'm a big, if you're doing commercials with your other teammates guy, it typically means that the relationship is solid enough that you'd want to do an endeavor like that. And so I see that with him. And franchise guys like that tend to overextend their welcome. And that's the Jacksonville Jaguars, bro.
I think so, man.
Snake bit franchise.
I think so, yeah. Seattle, Arizona.
What a fun game. Cashed on the over 45.5. Cashed in the first half. Or at least you needed half a point in the second half to cash it. It was very fun to watch. And the Cardinals, I'll say this, their fight in the second half to come back. Not only was it commendable, but whenever you have 2 defensive touchdowns in the red zone, I subtract that from the score. And I think that if you didn't have those, how would the game have shaken up? And I think the Cardinals would have gave them a better fight, at least optically. But the Cardinals were, I don't know if it was the Seahawks said, hey, we're up by 35 points. We don't need to play anymore. Let's just try not to get injured. Was that the mentality, or were they starting to let up some big time scores to the Cardinals? Because there was a moment there where the Cardinals, had they not turned the ball over on a 4 and out deep inside Seattle territory, they could have been down 2 scores heading into the fourth quarter. And that should never happen when you're up 35 points in the second half. So this is why I'm heavy on the Rams this upcoming week. It's because I think it's a young team that everybody's calling good, and they need a reality check. I think that second half of the game was the start of the reality check that's going to happen to them this upcoming week.
I cannot wait for this weekend. This is one of those weekends where Don't worry about the kids. I know I sound ignorant because I don't have any. Baby girl, we're not. No pumpkin picking. No apple picking. No dinners with your family. Don't call me for brunch. We got banger fucking games, bro. Broncos, Chiefs. Eagles, Lions. Bucks, Bills. Seahawks, Rams. Bruh.
Don't talk to us.
Don't talk to us. You better be on the couch watching this shit. I don't really have much to say. I think Seattle's defense is legit. I think they're special. I kind of want to talk about Kyler Murray. We didn't get to talk about this. Bro, they benched him. He's another one that's done in Arizona. Trevor Lawrence, I think, is done in Jacksonville. I know for certain, because I have eyes, Kyler Murray's done. Jacoby Brissett has thrown as many touchdown passes to Trey McBride in his starts this year than McBride had caught from Kyler Murray in his career. The offense looks better with him playing. You're looking at that contract. He's due about $40 million next year coming up. He's always hurt. I think it's ran its course, man. I think he just moves on, and maybe he's a guy that goes to an offensive mind, a 1-year deal with someone, step right in, and maybe he could rejuvenate his career. But they flat out benched him for Jacoby Brissett, who's been on 6 teams in the last 8 years. So he got benched for a journeyman, and you're the franchise quarterback. You want to hear this NFL executive? Says Kyler Murray should go play baseball because he was a top 10 draft pick potential, but then he chose to play football, which of course he would. He was a quarterback. He wasn't going to go in the back of a bus in fucking Boise, AAA baseball for 3 years before he got called up to the majors. Like, no, I'm going to play Thursday night football as a rookie. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make $200 million, which he has. I just think it's a wrap for him in Arizona, bro.
The 2018 Heisman Trophy finalist. This is the year that Kyler Murray won it. Because I do think that if he did not win this award, he wouldn't have been taken in the spot he was taken. He beat out Tua and Dwayne Haskins that year. Not the greatest Heisman finalist class that's transitioned to the NFL. He's a quarterback that forever it'll blow people's minds. He's like the bumblebee of all quarterbacks. How did a person that small play as successful as he did in the NFL? Because he does have his moments, but I'm worried about Jaxson Dart in the same case where his legs can't overshine the arm. And there was plenty of times in which Kyler Murray, it's either a 3 and out because he's trying to air it out over his offensive line, or he's scrambling and getting himself concussed. And I really don't think that that's a recipe for a Super Bowl winning team, in my opinion.
Nah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I've always said that. Kind of like Kyler Murray as an underdog. Just can't make it through a year. It's always hurt. Always hurt. And he's a dangerous guy to try to game plan for because he could beat you through the air and on the ground. But I just think that Arizona's going to go in a new direction next year. Seattle, though, is legit, man. And I can't wait for this Rams and Seahawks game. We'll segue into this Rams game against the Niners. At the moment, right now, the Super Bowl favorite out of the NFC are the LA Rams. I'm going to pat myself on the back for that.
He's been saying it since March. Since March, you've been on the Rams. And now it's coming to fruition. All the headlines are reading this Rams team, favorite in the NFC, Matt Stafford MVP. Congrats.
Bro, listen, you know the real reason why I like this team? I got to give you some credit. I like their defense, bro.
Young and fast and physical. Oof. Not a team that you will not play against, for sure.
Punching the ball out, DBs flying around, making plays. Special teams worries me, but we said it about the Eagles last year. If the kicker is our biggest concern, you got to love what you're seeing.
Yeah, but you don't. Seeing new kickers halfway through the year, never a good sign.
Yeah, never a good sign, bro. It's never a good sign. I'm with you on that. Just make your PATs is what I would tell the Rams kicker, because Stafford is absolutely balling out. I've been on record many, many different times that I don't think I've ever been happier for a guy to win a championship. Did I bet them? Yes, of course. But just as a fan of the sport, real recognize real, all the quarterbacks love this dude. CJ Stroud was on Gilly and Wallow, $1 million worth of game, and he was like, yo, I only watch Matthew Stafford. Yeah, I watch Mahomes, but like, I only watch Stafford. He could beat you the same way every time, and you can't do nothing about it. Aaron Rodgers was on McAfee a couple of years ago, and he's like, bro, Matty's been doing this since Georgia, but he was winning 4 games a year in Detroit. You know, he just got to 500 in his career.
I saw that graphic. 115 and 115.
How crazy is that, bro? He's 37.
I feel like I had the conversation when he went over to the Rams, how long it would theoretically take. And I feel he way over exceeded expectations on how quickly he could do it.
Bro, let me just give you this hypothetical. Imagine Stafford being the quarterback for this Lions team right now, as presently constructed. No one beats them. Gibbs, Laporta, Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is a $29 million wide receiver. He goes targetless for games. St. Brown, beast. Like, defensively, they got a bunch of guys that make plays too. Secondary, a little suspect, but we know about Hutchinson, Campbell as a linebacker. Imagine Stafford with it. So, like, him getting to 500 the second half of his career. And, bro, he's 37. He's a pocket passer. He might play another 5 years at a high level.
Yeah.
He really might. Tom Brady made a joke. He's like, bro, you're only 37. You'll be playing until you're 45. You got another 8 years left. And they were laughing. But it's like, remember this whole offseason, everyone that I was telling, yo, I love the Rams this year. What did everyone tell me? His back. It's like, bro, it's not his back.
Stop listening to his wife on fucking podcast. Stop.
He's 30.
Stop.
He's a 17-year vet that's like, I don't want to play preseason, so my back hurts.
I don't even know if I want to play football, but I know you guys give a shit, and I actually do want to play football. So I'm going to tell everybody that I'm not playing football, but everybody at the facility knows I'm playing football.
Bro, and
it's
like,
crazy because it drove the number in a direction that it would not seem fathomable had you bring up the same situation in case, and you highlighted that the Rams were going to be this successful in April. But that's where you have to buy in and trust to what a good offensive unit looks like. And you just have to pray that the defense lives up to the hype. Because if your offensive unit doesn't have firepower, we know immediately. We know in June whether or not your team is going to be able to win games late and worry teams about how do you guard these people. Defenses, it's a roll of the dice. Because like I said, defense is 100% energy and effort and an intent to kill somebody. Can't really see what that is on paper.
Yeah.
Offensive talent-wise, you can. And that's what this Rams team did. They checked every single box.
Without a doubt. And here's the other thing that was really telling that he's done the last couple of weeks, right? He has thrown for 4 more touchdown passes with no interceptions in each of the last 3 games. Only Dan Marino and Peyton Manning have done that. They did that 4 games in a row. They're the only other people that have done this more than him. Here is why I really like the Rams, and I've always liked the Rams, but yesterday was really telling. On key third downs for big completions, Terrence Ferguson, Higbee, Colby Parkinson, big plays. So what do you do if you know it's going to go to Puka and Devontae? You take those guys out. He has no problem. He threw a no-look to Ferguson. Got Kyron Williams out the backfield. he didn't do nothing yesterday, but Tutu Atwell is going to score an 80-yard touchdown at some point again.
Yeah.
So they could just beat you in so many different ways in their defense. They got two guys on the edge with Young and with Verse.
Mm-hmm.
You got the guys in the secondary running around. McVay has his blunders, but there's a Super Bowl winning coach and a Super Bowl winning quarterback. And you continue to watch Devontae Adams, man. Caught 6 of his 8 targets for a touchdown and 77 yards. Just an unbelievable performance by Stafford and this Rams offense. You just go into the Niners and be like, yo, listen, all this little brother shit, it's quiet, bro. That was a fluke. Kieran Williams, let's feed you. Let's get your confidence back because you feel like you cost us that game on Thursday Night Football. This game is going to be really telling because they're going to have to play Seattle again, but then this time they'll have to go into Seattle. I love this Rams team. I hope they continue to blossom and continue to roll, and I hope Stafford continues to ball out.
Enough said.
Enough said.
This afternoon slate, all overs hit. Are totals too easy? When I'm making my picks on this Wednesday show, if I pick a total, should I have to parlay it? No, I'm undefeated on totals so far this year.
No, listen, that's great, bro. If you could find that one thing that you're good at, maybe totals for you is anytime touchdowns for me. Devontae Smith scored a touchdown tonight. Had him plus 210 on the Discord and the Patreon. So it could be, right? All favorites covered comfortably, and the game went over. So the books hated that afternoon window.
Yep.
Just anytime you have overs, no one at the bar is betting an under because it's boring, and people are going to bet favorites, and they all covered. The Lions game, I don't really have anything to say. Kind of just Lions are now 13-0 against the spread after a straight-up loss as a favorite during the Campbell and Goff era. It's kind of one of those, like, if they lose again the following week, we got to take them.
Yeah.
It's the best NFL trend right now in the whole league.
But fuck the Lions.
Yo, yeah.
I know.
Listen, bro.
So
here's no, because it's important what you said, right? And I don't mean to pick on you, but a lot of people say this, right? For you to be good at betting, you gotta have the ability to erase shit from your mind.
Yep.
Because last week the Lions lose as my Becky. This week they win as my Becky. Why? Because it's the spot. It's the revenge angle against Washington. You're never going to be a good bettor if you're like, bro, I'm never betting on this dude again because he couldn't get me half a more yard. It's like, nah, bro, because maybe next week he has a better matchup and his yardage prop is now lower. Why were we on Rome Odunze last week? He had as many catches as us two did against the Bengals, and they scored 47, 48 points as a team.
Yeah.
And then his yardage prop was 19 yards less than what it normally has been. So that went over, and he scored a touchdown. Listen, he got the touchdown late in the game, but he scored. But his yards, he cleared it in the first half, which I had also said, like, yo, his yards is 58 and a half. That's fucking crazy. He got 66, like, halfway through the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. You're never going to be a good bettor if you're like, dude, I'll never bet him again. When I hear people say that, I'm like, you're just not going to be good at this. For content purposes, yeah, Kirk Cousins, he's a terrorist. He's on the ban list. If Kirk Cousins is playing, we're not going to take it. But I got burned by the Falcons 2 weeks ago. I love them as my toxic one this week. You have to pick the spots. You can't do that, bro, because you're going to get burned. This is the game that we love. It's going to happen.
It's true.
But you have to bet the number, the situation. You add narratives in there that make sense. Like, yo, Dan Campbell's kind of a dick. He'll run the score up on you if you beat him in an embarrassing way. They beat them as 10-point favorites last year, Washington did. Like, all right, bet. You guys are down. Bam, Amos now out for the year. Broke his fibula. Promising young player for their secondary. Payne threw a fucking right hook.
Jesus. Yeah.
At St. Brown, he gets ejected. Daniels, we thought his career was, this season was over. He might be coming back, which is crazy too. It's another team that should be like, yeah, you know what? Let's pack it in, bro.
Correct.
Why are we going to run you out there for 6-11? Nah, fuck you. We know you're the answer. So, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. It's a terrible mistake. You need to bet week to week. Everything is different. Things change. And you have to be able to forget that to be successful in the sports betting space.
That was well said.
Thank you, bro. I felt really good about that.
It was good.
I appreciate it.
You laid it out perfectly. You also didn't mention the fact that you called Jahmyr Gibbs 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, but I can't take credit for that. I bet that on my own. Like, I didn't put that in the Discord. Hell, I didn't even bet him. I didn't even say for him to score as a Patreon pick because he was minus 200 to score 1. I bet him to score 3 touchdowns. I did give out Kieran Williams to score. He was even money. But, yeah, I had the best weekend of my life. No. This football season, definitely.
Yeah.
I got my purple belt on Friday.
Big,
yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you very much. Shout out to the Shapiro brothers, my dogs. It means a lot to get the cosign from you guys, for real. And so I got my purple belt on Friday. I went out, couple dates, got a haircut, was looking handsome as always. Ended out good. Great girl.
Nice.
I'll show you some pictures after.
Amazing.
Polite pictures. I'm not a complete piece of shit.
No,
Classic.
bro, come on. Let's go back to high school where you had that hidden app. It was like a calculator. You typed in a 9-digit code. That's the only code you can remember, but you typed in those 9 digits.
You got the secret stash over there.
You do. And
Yeah.
had I said it right there, I mean, that's CP that I'm talking about now that I'm an adult. But
Yeah.
back then,
Yeah.
that was like Bitcoin.
Early
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
$20 for a Bitcoin season,
Oh,
bro.
boy.
Yeah, so it was a really good weekend, man. And like I said, the picks went 4-1. Anytime touchdown, I kind of broke even from what the Patreon gave out. But then, I had Kieran Williams to score 2 and then Jahmyr Gibbs to score 3 touchdowns. So I had quite the weekend. And then I even hit up George and I was like, yo, who do you like to score the first touchdown? It's on the house. He didn't score the first touchdown, but it's okay. George got a free roll at it. You never know.
He didn't score the first touchdown, but the most frustrating fucking thing happened where he could have scored the first touchdown had Aaron Rodgers put the ball in the money, turn around upfield. Juanu Smith would have been in there, and we would have been $600-something richer. But instead, we watch an absolute snooze fest. I am sick and tired of seeing the way Arthur Smith destroys offenses. Sick of it. This team with a Hall of Fame quarterback should not be playing the style in which they're playing indoors. Play that 3 tight end set shit when it's a blizzard outside and you're unable to throw the football. However, when you have a Hall of Famer, I don't care that maybe he's not as sharp as he used to be. We got to be throwing the ball 40 times a game. We got to be getting DK Metcalf way more acquainted with what a Aaron Rodgers out route looks like. There's nothing that DK Metcalf runs that isn't a slant or a go ball. Literally his only 2 routes. How about a DK Metcalf screen? How about a different way of moving the ball down the field than we've seen? It's sickening because the defense played their fucking ass off, but that defense who also played their ass off probably was like, well, shit, our offense can't do anything today anyways. And then that's when the floodgates opened up and Ladd McConkey goes like, he played really well. And I'm sick of these Steelers. I cannot bear to watch it anymore. I have December 7th circled the game versus the Ravens. I won't watch them until that game because I don't even want to know. Like, I don't want to know how bad I'm going to lose that game on December 7th. I just want to let it happen when it happens. How did you feel about Sunday Night Football last night?
I thought the defense for the Chargers came alive. They played really, really well, but I wonder how much of that was Aaron Rodgers and this offense, to your point. Justin Herbert in primetime this year is undefeated. He is, however, getting pressured more than any quarterback in the league, and I think that's very concerning. Now they're out. They're without Slater, obviously, from the preseason. They just paid this dude in the offseason, and then he got hurt, and then Joe Alt is now out. he's going to be taped up the whole year. Madison Beer going to have to take care of the boy because the injuries are catching up to them, especially in positions that really, really matter. But offensively, when they're on, they're a fun team. They're a really fun team. But I think it's more telling of Pittsburgh. There's a reason why they're plus 300 to win the division.
Yeah.
In some places, and Baltimore is such a significant favorite. So, yeah, shout out to Keenan Allen. Broke the record for most catches in Chargers history, surpassing Antonio Gates. They gave him a nice little tribute. And don't forget, this dude last year would have had it, but he went to Chicago in the offseason. And then the Bears had traded a pick to the Chargers that ended up being Ladd McConkey, who's now the new Keenan Allen, and will probably break all the records that Keenan Allen set if he stays healthy and stays with the Chargers, because him and Justin Herbert are on the same type of time. And I feel like he has that kind of game that's going to translate for a decade.
Yeah. Oh, and Vidal?
Yeah.
I know he wasn't the premier name headed into the year, and I know when Hampton comes back, he's going to get a majority of the work.
Yeah.
But you found somebody in that dude.
Yeah.
To be able to run into the teeth of that Steelers defense successfully, and it gave me remnants of Darren Sproles vibes.
Yeah.
They found one.
Nah, for sure. All right, before we get into Monday winners, big ups to the members of the Patreon, patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. Please support the show for $1 a month. That is all we're asking for. George, we got a couple of people that have pledged for the year.
Oh, I love year-long pledgers.
Yeah.
Who pledged?
So if you pledge for the year, you actually save $2.
Discount.
Discount
on an already discounted price.
Yeah.
We love it.
Absolutely. So shout out to, and I'm just reading what the Patreon name is. Ayo became a member of Legends tier for the year. Spencer, David Cleveland, my boy David, who inspired the Jets conversation before.
Sick.
He's the one with the Jet tattoo. He's a fucking lunatic, but you know what? He's passionate and he cares about his team, so I fuck with that. Shout out to Josiah Leva, Dreezy 305, and Art Arakalian. I definitely butchered that. I apologize. I tried my best. Listen, I got a high school education, bro. It's a little difficult for me, but we appreciate you guys for pledging to the Patreon. Patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. Listen, there's a lot of people that sell picks out there. They don't fuck with us. I got to say it that way. For the cost and the return, no one like it. We don't sell our picks. If you listen to the show or follow us on social media, you get the picks for free. But we understand life gets in the way. Your girl might be bugging out. Your boys might be pulling you to Columbia on bachelor parties, and you can't listen to the show. Just subscribe to the Patreon. You get a list of all the picks, all the plays, and then the Discord. Even tonight, Monday Night Football, I said, I like Christian Watson to score, plus 300. I like Devontae Smith to score. He scored the only touchdown of the game, Devontae Smith. Well, actually, Josh Jacobs scored, but I didn't have Jacobs. Devontae Smith, plus 210. Discord play. You know what I'm saying? Patreon.com/Veterans Minimum. Don't be cheap, you fucks. Help the boys out. All right, George. Monday winners. Mine last week hit Bears minus 3.5. If you waited until Sunday, it was -5. The best line you're going to get is Monday and Tuesday before people start talking it up. People start betting. That's why it's called the Monday winners. All right. 7-3-1, I think I am on Monday winners, because there was 1 week I gave out 2 picks. So it's very important when you hear this. This is when you go and you make the play. What do you have for your Monday winner?
Nothing's moving me off the Rams this week. Rams minus 2.5. This is a statement game, week, moment for this NFC West division that is honestly been the surprise of the year with how competitive all the teams have been, even down to the Cardinals. They're a bad competitive team. The Rams are going to win this game steadily throughout it all. I am not going to go alt spread on this just because of how good the Seahawks defense is. However, I do see a moment in which the Seahawks get absolutely punched in the mouth, and I'm fading another very, very strong trend right now, which is the Seahawks going on the road and winning games. As a matter of fact, last year, the Seahawks beat the Rams. When did they beat the Rams? Week 18 when Stafford wasn't playing. So the Rams have already been a part of that little streak, and I just know that given the spot and the circumstance, if we're going to say that both their offenses and defenses are equally matched up, I'm going to take the better coach in the matchup. Give me the Rams -2.5. Who's your Monday winner?
Man, it's hard to disagree with you, bro. I don't want to bet this game because I have too much invested already. I'm entering that time of the year now where I'm like, man, do I hedge with Drake May? I could get +300 right now. Do I hedge it for MVP? I don't know. I'm going to let it ride because I got 45-1 on Stafford. But I'm in that scenario right now. I think for me, the bet that I like, the Chiefs are 3-point favorites on the road against Denver. Andy Reid off a bye. He's covering 78% of his games. This is dare I say, a must-win for the Chiefs to have any hope in the division. I like the spot a lot for Kansas City. It's also going to be very telling. If Denver could handle them and beat them, I'll feel different because this is like the first real test that they're going to have in a very, very long time.
Yep.
And they haven't looked good, bro.
They have not.
They're winning in spite of Bo Nix. They're not winning because of Bo Nix. They're winning in spite of him. He is... I can't wait to bet against them in the playoffs. I'm telling you, bro, whoever they play, and they're going to host... Imagine like a Buffalo going into Denver. Or like maybe even a Chargers in division. A Kansas City even.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to bet against Bo Nix, bro. I felt the same way. I was telling you all of last year, we're going to find the spot to capitalize on Jared Goff as a favorite. And that's what happened too. So for me, I like the Chiefs -3.
Nice.
Yeah.
You have a Thursday night football pick for us, Nick.
Man, Thursday night football, bro. What a mess.
The Jets at the Patriots. 11.5-point favorites the Patriots are. I'm not picking a side on this, but I'll give you mine. Matt Collins, over 40 receiving yards at +110 right now. Matt Collins is starting to pick up his offensive production for this Pats squad. Obviously, the booty going down. You saw Kyle Williams be their deep go-to route, but the thing that you got to like about Matt Collins is that when Matt Collins catches it, a lot of his routes are similar to tight end routes, and they find ways to get him in on those big blocking packages. And I've seen it enough to this point to know that plus money, I know against the Jets secondary, I'm going to take it. Matt Collins, over 40 receiving yards this Thursday.
Yeah, I do want to mention that last week I had Troy Franklin to have over 36.5 receiving yards. He had 40, so my prop last week hit. 1-0 on the Thursday Night Football props. Yours got voided because Jacoby Myers got
Jacoby
traded.
Myers did score a touchdown. It just wasn't on Thursday,
Yeah.
and it was on Sunday for a completely different team.
Yeah. So that one didn't
That
count.
was unfortunate.
So for me, what I'm looking at is Mason Taylor. I know this is crazy because they can't do shit in the passing game, the New York Jets, but Mason Taylor, his receiving yards are 32.5. Bro, Garrett Wilson is out for a month now. He's already had a good relationship, air quotes, with Justin Fields. He should get peppered with targets. 32.5. That's what I'm going at. I think I'm going to be finding the guy that's in the 30s and just going with that Thursday Night Football.
I like it.
You have the garbage time narrative as well. Give me Mason Taylor over 32.5. I like it up to 40. What's the alt spread on him to get 40? 40 is plus 140. Yeah, let's do that. So if it moves from 32.5 up until 40, I like it. Mason Taylor.
Book it.
Book it. Hey, thank you all for listening. Please subscribe to the You're Welcome Network. We're almost at 200,000 subscribers here on the You're Welcome Network. Rate, review, share the show with us. Shout out to a couple of people, Big Willie style. Shout out to Jacob Orr as well. Shout out to BWA Savage, always tagging us and putting plays in the Discord as well. Shout out to the Discord being super active, even though it's everyone telling me, yo, Bijan Robinson, it's over. Like, I know, bro.
Enough.
Fuck, man.
Enough.
It's like you're taking the knife into the heart more and more every single time.
Don't keep doing it. Don't.
Are you the culprit that's telling him to do this?
Ever since I saw Jonathan Taylor succeeding, I was like, I'm going to rub it in Nick's fucking face.
Hey, listen, we got that MVP ticket, so if he keeps balling out like this, let's get that. Let's get that. Maybe it's the MVP year this year for us for MVP and not Offensive Player of the Year. But all things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. Thank you all for watching. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.